All right. How's it going? Hard Talk Radio. I'm your host, Mr. Deadman. And tonight we're talking about Truckfighters. Why are these trucks fighting? Why do trucks fight? Talking about horror. Talking about the Enigma Experience with Dango. How's it going, Dango?
Good. I just woke up, so nice, I guess.
Right? What time is it over there again?
4:30.
4:30 in the morning. Wow.
Yeah. This is like probably my earliest interview I can remember, at least.
And from what I gathered, it's going to be the most important, okay? Everyone that's talked to me, success has come their way.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be, right? Since I'm so unsuccessful so far.
No, you guys are doing really well. In fact, man, Truckfighters, man, you guys been around for a while. And, man, like, there's a lot of excitement in your shows. Like, I've seen some of your live shows and all that. Of course, not personally. I wish I could. I wish I would. But, man, and the way you guys play. But, hold on. Let me back up a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I want to have a quick announcement. There's going to be a special show next Friday. Not that this show isn't special, but we're doing a horror trivia and giving away, well, not giving away, you have to earn it, $100. $100. You have to earn it. All you have to do is show your horror movie knowledge. Show your horror movie knowledge and get through a series of questions. If you can get through all the questions, you get the $100. That's all you have to do. And it's going to be open to the callers. So you just call in and you just go through the gauntlet. Okay? And as you proceed, the more questions you get right, okay, ramps up your prizes, you get rewards and all that. And boom, you have that chance to get $100. That's coming this Friday. All right? You can check for the details of that at patreon.com/deadmanstone. Okay, I'll put the link here in the chat so that way you can see it. Bam. Anyway, sorry about that. All right, so the first question I always have for all my guests is, Dango, who are you and what do you do?
I am, I don't know, a guitar legend, and that's what I do.
I like that. I like how you pause right there, because that's why I asked that question. It's meant to be kind of like who am I? What are we?
Who am I? The fuck am I? Yeah. I'm just a dude.
Just a dude. You see, that could be like a deep philosophical question. What am I? What's my purpose? What are we doing here? Have you ever done shrooms?
What?
Have you ever done shrooms?
I don't know what shrooms is.
Mushrooms.
Or. No, I don't need that.
You don't need it. You don't need it. And I believe that. I believe that because your song was it? Man. Was it Lifted? Get Lifted? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That song right there, when I listen to it, I sound like I'm like going through a trance. Oh man, it's good. I feel like, is it, because some people believe that music can have sort of like a high, can kind of.
Oh, definitely. And I think that especially it's maybe easier to get a bit of that when you do a live show, I think, when you're just on the stage, because you get so much like adrenaline and it's so much musical, also like emotional going through your system. When it's so loud, like the music just consumes you, you can feel every tone, like vibrating through your whole system, and then you have the whole atmosphere with the crowd and everything.
Oh man,
I think that's like my drug, It's addictive for sure, because once you get into regular touring, it's hard to stop.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, how do you replace it? I mean, how do you handle that? I mean, if playing live like that, performing live is that huge rush, gives you that huge rush. How do you, like, what do you do in the low moments, in the moments when you're not on stage, in the moments when you're not performing? Like, that has to be really rough, right? It has to be a huge struggle.
I used to say, and this was worse when I was younger, I guess, because, I mean, when you get older, you can handle your drugs better.
Right?
No, but I thought it was really weird. It's still really weird to get home when you've been like on a long tour, or not even that long. Let's say the longest we do these days, so it's like 3 weeks. because we did a few tour longer than 3 weeks, and we just got fucked up, mentally, I would say, from that.
Okay.
But to come home after a long tour, and then nothing happens. It's like walking in slow motion. It's so weird. And if you're home too long, you get really bored. So it's definitely like an addictive thing for sure.
Walking in slow motion. I like how you put that. Like it's like you're walking in slow motion.
Yeah, nothing happens. It's like when you're home, it's like, okay, whatever. Everything's so slow. Because when you're on tour, you get impressions like constantly, or you have your mind in like resting mode, so you don't really care. And you don't take anything in anyway. But when you turn it on, like the stage mode, or when you get to a venue, and when you let yourself like get up in speed before a show, and then it's so much coming in. And for me, the rest of the like day and night is usually just recovery, and I shut myself down almost completely, as much as I can at least. But when I get home, then that's just, at least in the beginning, before I get into a little bit more normal state, it's kind of shut down mode, but all the time. It's weird.
But that makes a lot of sense, though. I mean, then okay. First off, you get a little ahead. Well, you are a guitar player. Tell us a little bit about Truckfighters, like how that got started.
I mean, Mr. Oso and a guy called Arve, they needed to record something because they were studying for sound engineer, and we had been in the same like school and class the year before, but I started to work actually, and they went to another town nearby and studied the same thing again, which is a bit funny, just to get like the money that you get when you study here and have something fun to do instead of getting into the normal life of working.
Right.
So then they needed to record something, and so Oscar also wrote, I think, 2 songs, and then they put it on a cassette tape, and they found, I don't remember how, but they got this name, and then so I heard these songs then, and then I was like, guys, this is much better than your other band. Let's make this like a real band now. So that was like how Truckfighters started, and then I just more or less like made myself join the band.
Oh wow!
It was funny because they had another band back then, Firestone, that we did the first split with Truckfighters. But when I heard these 2 like songs that was just very quickly thrown together as half as a joke, for the purpose of just having something to record, then I instantly liked it more, like at least the sound and the vibe of it, more than the other band. So then I thought that we should like start this band for real. And then we wrote Desert Cruiser, and the band was started.
Desert Cruiser. That's like one of my favorite songs. You probably get that a lot. Desert Cruiser and man, what's the other one? Greta Weibo. What is it?
Weedo.
Yeah, man, that song. I love that song. That song is like one of my favorites.
I think that Desert Cruiser definitely is our most famous song that people like a lot. But from like hardcore fans, I also hear Majestic. I hear a lot as favorite too.
Yeah.
And Get Lifted, like you said, also one of people's favorite. Mastodon.
You guys have a great sound, which I mean,
a lot of the songs are people's favorite. At least those who seem to be like hardcore Truckfighters fans.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you say that this all started like kind of like almost like an accident, like you're working. These guys wanted an engineer. They wanted a sound, and you just sort of like fell into it. But
I totally like, wow, this is really cool. I never heard anything like it, and it was I mean, those songs are never been released or used. I don't even know if they still have them somewhere. The songs in themselves were a bit boring, but the whole vibe and the sound was really like, yeah, reached me, I would say.
Mm. Now, let's talk about the sound, though, because the sound that Truckfighters has is very, I mean, it's a distinct sound. It's like that, what they call like stoner metal or desert metal or desert rock. It's not, it goes pretty hard, but it's not really metal, but man, it's distinct. It's gritty. It's sandy.
More
It's
like heavy than,
a
yeah,
huge
it's
fuzz, you know?
definitely not close to the mainstream metal sound. It's far from that. We don't
Mhm.
have so much treble and you know, guitars that hurts your ears. We
You
have
got,
more like
you know,
warm night tones.
when I was when I first fell into Metallica, when I was in high school and I started listening to Metallica, it was a Kill 'Em All album, and on that album there was a song called Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. That's that's the sound. That's the sound, and it's that heavy fuzz, that distorted bass, sort of heavy fat sound. Man, I'm trying to paint a picture for those who don't know what Truckfighter sounds like. Just Google right now. I would play it, but I can't play it. Copyright, all that. Even if you give me permission to, I think it might flag. Which, by the way, like, so Truckfighters, is it like is it on its like independent label, or like how does that work for Truckfighters?
Yeah, we run our own label called Fasorama Records, but we haven't released all the Track Fighter stuff. I mean, the latest Track Fighter release we did, V or 5, is released on Century Media. But apart from that, we released all the records ourselves, actually.
Oh man, and V has some really awesome tracks in it as well. Man, oh man, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, but so while I'm describing the sound, how did you guys fall into it? Like, why that sound? Like, whenever, yeah, I think we'll go there. Like, why that sound?
Yeah, I mean, when we started the band, then we had a quite fixed idea that we wanted to have like more thickness and more fatness than Caius.
Dick.
That was like the idea of the sound from the start.
That's right.
But that was just the first like year or two maybe, and then we just whatever we're gonna do, just do what we think sounds good. But the first like demo EP recording, then we had this idea to make it more fat than Caius.
Oh
And it was
yeah, that's another band that's kind of in that category. I don't know, like, is it stoner metal or is it desert metal or desert rock? Like, how would you categorize it? Stoner rock?
yeah, stone rock, fast rock, whatever.
Yeah,
It's many for the same thing, I would
yeah.
say.
But it's a good sound, that thickness.
Yeah.
Man, because it gives that distinct thing. Because when I listen to Desert Cruiser, it actually, I can picture like the desert. When I listen to Desert Cruiser, I think Star Wars. I think what's that desert planet in Star Wars? Tatooine. I don't remember. But I think that. So there's
So
that.
have you been driving through the desert playing Truck Fighter songs a few times?
No. That's the thing. I live far
Yeah.
from the desert.
Come on, you're in Texas. You're not that far from desert. It's like
Uh,
right there.
well, every day it's really hot. Okay. But okay. So with this band, I mean, you guys have been touring. I'm sure you have some amazing experiences. What are some of the highlights that you guys have?
For me, I think the first time we played like a genre-specific festival in Europe back
Okay.
in 2006, I think. That's a highlight because then we understood that we had a lot of fans because people came running to the stage when we started playing. And we had no idea,
Mm.
you know. So that was fun. I
Yeah.
still remember it. Stone from the Underground in Germany, 2006. And at that time, the scene was really small. It was hard to get people to the shows back then. The whole underground scene was much, much smaller. Uh, and then I guess you can thank the internet for illegal downloads, and it grew.
So illegal downloads, did it help grow the underground scene?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And of course, it also doesn't help or didn't help in the sense that bands kind of need to make money. But when you are still, 25, 26, 27, you don't really care about making too much money. You just want to play. Uh, so that was okay. I mean, we have gone to South America touring, but like first time in South America, I think was 2013. And then we had no idea that we had fans there. So, because it was illegal downloads, even bootlegs, like
Yeah.
professional bootlegs of CDs. And we went to Buenos Aires first show, and 600 people shows up, and we just like, what the fuck happened? So, that was fun.
Napster, LimeWire.
Yeah,
I remember those things. I used them too, and I remember Metallica sued them because they were messing with their profits.
yeah. That also,
Yeah, and I get
you
that.
can
If
still, like,
if you're a
yeah,
big band that wants to continue making a lot of money, then you want to protect that. If you are a band that doesn't, it's not really known, and that's what people like.
then, and for small bands, you make more money like selling T-shirts on the shows anyway. So whatever, whatever makes people go to the shows and discover the band.
So how do you feel about streaming services? Because now I imagine like bootlegs or and illegal downloads are kind of dropped because streaming services make it so much easy now, right? YouTube is pretty much just thievery, right?
Yeah, I think it's much better than only illegal stuff, of course. So now we actually make a little bit of money from the digital side. So it's good, and it's the future. You cannot really complain about it. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
And of course, you should be aware that they don't really pay much. Google pays shit. Spotify pays more than Google, for example. I don't know how much Apple pays. But Google is a fucked up company, and for years they just avoided paying anything because they have some offices in so many countries. So they just picked the one country with the best laws to be responsible, and then they just dodged everything for a long time.
What a bunch of thieves! And by the way, you can cuss on the show if you want to say a bunch of cunts. You can do that too. I'll do that for you. Look, not speaking for you, but speaking for you. But no, man, like, okay, so Metallica sued Napster for thievery, for stealing, and then you have these streaming services like Google through YouTube and YouTube Music and all that, not paying much at all. I mean, come on, man.
They didn't pay anything. Years and years, YouTube didn't pay, and then I think like the European Union and the state of USA kind of did some kind of legal process or a new law or whatever, so they had to start paying. But that was just a few years ago. So for many years they just didn't pay anything from YouTube.
Oh man, that is garbage right there, and I mean that honestly. No hyperbole or anything. That is crap. I'm friends with some people that are in some small bands. They can help me out with various projects, and they have complained about the streaming services stuff and how they make pretty much barely nothing. And it's like, On
the other hand, I mean, if you have a career that's going to be, like us, 2 decades or maybe longer, now 3. Next year is the 20th anniversary for Truckfighters. So it's also, if you have lucky enough to get a song or two that gets like classic songs that people will listen to for years, like Desert Cruiser or Call Me for the Storm or whatever.
Oh,
I mean, we're gonna make money for the rest of our lives, probably. So
that is true.
Then streaming is better than physical, I guess, because the fans, if they pay like a tiny cent every time you listen to it instead.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of bands complain about. They get paid like just pocket change, not even pocket change, like a fraction for each play. It's like, okay. It's like, what's the value of a song then? What's the value of a play? If you could buy an album for like...
I don't remember much this, but it's like nothing. I checked one of the smallest bands we have that were helping to distribute it only on digital services because they're friends of mine. And I think they had something like 1,500 plays or something on Spotify, or if it was all the digital 1,500 plays. and the money they earned was something like $2 or $1.50, something like that. So they would have made more money if they would have like did a demo recording, burnt it on a CDR, and sell one.
Yes.
That would have been more.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's not even. I'm bad at math, but that's like so 1,500 downloads or plays, and only $2, close to $2. That's
Let's say that
bad.
1,000 plays was like $1 or something like that.
Wow.
It's insane. But if you have 10 million plays, then it's what's that? $1 million or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
is
That's
it
true.
$100,000? Yeah, I don't know about the zeros there.
Mm. So we talked about some of the highlights for Truck Fighters. What about touring stories? You got any touring stories?
I do. It's just I have to pick the best one.
Well, let's
I
see.
can't. I,
Being rock and roll, the stereotype is party. You party hard. You do a lot of the party scene.
nah. I mean, of course, we partied when we were younger, but not like that. The
So
first time we went to Belgium, the promoter had taken his bike to Netherlands and bought a bag of weed for us,
hey,
and we're like, "No, sorry, we don't smoke." And it's like, "What? No, we don't smoke." It's like, "You're kidding, right?" It's like, "No, we don't smoke." Ha ha ha! Come on, guys. But no, we really don't smoke. And then he was like, "What? I went on my bike to the Netherlands just for you." And
well,
that's the origin of the song Guido Guido. Because then we took the bag and gave it to the drummer of the support band, and his name is Guido,
oh,
and he likes weed.
dude,
So
that
he was
song is so
smoking
cool
the
too. I
whole,
love that song so much, man.
he was yeah, he was smoking the whole tour from there, and then that's why we made the song Guido Guido. It's about him.
Mm, that's cool. Cool story. But yeah, it's weird. You expect like when you look up stoner rock bands, your name comes up, and it's like you'd imagine these guys get baked all the time. But
Yeah.
you guys sound pretty professional, whereas meaning that so you might have a sound that might be associated with stoner metal, but it has nothing to do with that. Like you guys aren't waking bacon.
But if you see our live show, I think you understand that it's too physical to be a serious party on a whole tour.
Yeah.
At least if you do a longer tour, it worked when you did, a weekend. Then would party every night, of course. In the beginning, when we were 24 years old, 23 years old, and then you went for 4 days on tour. Of course, you would party after every show, and then you would totally dead for a week when you get
Uh,
home.
okay.
Uh, but we
So
kind of soon we realized that that doesn't really work if we do more than 3 shows in a row. And also it's not so fun when you've done it a while.
mm. So no story about any band member getting caught up in cocaine or heroin or something. None of that stuff.
No, but we had one of the drummers that we had back and forth. He has had in periods like serious addiction problems.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that kind of explains why he left the band a few times too.
And I said that as kind of like a joke, but that stuff is pretty real, man. It's unfortunate. Um, and it is what it is. I mean, if you can't manage his business and I don't know, stay away from it, then he
Yeah,
needs to take.
it's easy to get the bad stuff on the road.
Oh
Because
yeah.
people expect bands to party, and of course, I mean, we also even nowadays when we're getting a bit more like grown up. I'm gray, but we still, of course, we have a beer once in a while, and we hang out a bit, but we don't really party hard. But it's always you always have the possibility to drink or do whatever. More people always offer if they think you want.
Oh yeah.
So if you have that part that we are weak for addictive stuff, then
Mm.
it's a little bit of a dangerous environment, I would say.
So no heavy drugs. But what about ladies? What about the women? It's rock and roll. You had to have been swimming with the ladies, right? I'm
Do
gonna
you
get you in
know?
trouble, huh? You have a
Do you
wife, huh?
know? style, how big a percentage of the fans are guys?
Like 100%.
Now, when I look at our statistics, and almost the same in Facebook or Instagram or whatever, it's around 85% men.
Yeah, I've seen it too. I see the, like I said, I've seen the live videos. It's a bunch of sweaty men. They're rocking
Yeah, but
hard, man.
of course, there's been women, but most of the times, I think we always had like girlfriends at home, and we're not the kind of people who are like thinks which people should be unfaithful. So we always did our thing and then went to bed.
That's
playing, working.
That's good, man. That's actually honorable. I mean, especially when the rock and roll scene, the stereotype is like, oh man, they're just gonna party hard. They're just gonna be, into a lifestyle that's gonna be a mess, a train wreck, not be very stable for any family or anything. But it sounds like because
at least everybody's been in our band. I mean, we had drummers, we have 10 drummers or whatever, but I don't think that we had any like bad person. If you say it's bad to cheat, which it is.
It is.
Now we always have like serious people in that sense in our band, and of course, when we've been like in single, then of course there's been women once in a while. There's nothing strange with that, but it's not like it's more often than if I would go out to a club in Stockholm as often as I'm out if I'm on a tour. I don't. It's a little bit, just I think it's a little bit at least just rumor or how you call it, talk, and that's how it should be. And I don't know. Sometimes it might, sometimes it's not.
Now, of course, maybe it's a different, maybe it's a cultural difference. Like American rock bands, like I spoke with, I think it was last year around this time, I spoke with the ex-drummer of Five Finger Death Punch, Jeremy Spencer, I believe that's his name. And he was talking about how he was doing cocaine off of Golden Records and shit like that. But he hit bottom. He hit bottom. He was telling me that story. He got caught up in that lifestyle, and he pretty much consumed him and all that. And he found his way. He found sobriety. He found his way out, and it's working for him. So what I'm getting to here is, are other bands in your area? Do they have like the same mentality? Do they have the same approach? Like, hey, we're gonna take care of ourselves when we're on the road. We're not gonna get caught up in the mess.
I think there's a bit of both. I mean, there's still some bands that just go out to party, and but to those who do that, they don't last so long as a band. Actually, I think that those who keep going for 10, 15, 20 years, they are more like serious about it and see it more as a serious task than just a party.
Right.
But of course, it also has to do with age. Most bands that are 23 and tour, of course, they party a lot. That's normal, I would say.
Okay.
But if you're 43, I'm not 43 yet, but I don't think I would party so much when I'm 43 on tour. It's why would I do that? It's not so fun when you've done it so many times. And I don't know. I kind of appreciate more to have a glass of wine at home than drink a lot on tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you just you do what you enjoy, like a glass of wine at home, or a beer every now and then. Maybe be like Willie Nelson and have some marijuana every now and then. I know Willie Nelson, but you take care of yourself. That's good. That's good. Now, I think we might have already answered this question, but what are we talked about the highlights, talked about touring stories. What are some of the low moments or bad moments of Truckfighters? Trying to make a complete package here.
Sometimes, for example, the drummers' dilemma situations have been quite bad because it's so annoying when it doesn't work out for some various reasons. It's annoying to look for a new drummer. So I don't like that. So that's in general a bad thing that we haven't managed to keep a drummer so long for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of odded me out. No, odded me out. It was kind of odd to me because I was like, man, their drum technique is actually pretty good. I mean, I'm not a drummer, but like when I listen to the songs, especially when it's live, it's like, all right. I mean, the drums can get pretty technical. Yeah,
That's why
must be hard to keep up when you have like drummers kind of going in and out.
we kind of use them and use them up, and then they're like, I can't do this anymore. No, it's always different reasons why a drummer quits. I'm not gonna go into specific
Hey, it's
details.
okay. Yeah, we don't want to get into any drama necessarily. But you had the drummer from Queens of the Stone Age, right? Did he help
The
you out
drummer
too?
from Stone Age? No.
No, I thought so. Or, I thought he was helped you out.
No, but we have in our documentary, it's like a
Yeah.
fake where
Oh.
Alfred. Yeah, but that's just for fun, a joke.
Oh, it was a good joke. Good joke. And I mean that guy's pretty talented as well. I mean, he's in a number of bands that I mean shit, that guy can't stop starting bands. You know? He has so many commitments. He just goes in and out, you know? Anyway. Now, let's talk about the Enigma Experience. What is that?
Yes, that's my new band. And I should have changed my shirt. Now I'm having a track shirt. Now we're talking Enigma, and maybe I should run and get another one. Wait, I'm gonna do it.
Or why is gone? I can reveal the secret. Why? Why the new band is here. See, there's some drama. Just messing.
Okay, so I'm doing this. This is a bit rock star-ish, isn't it? Clothes change in the middle of an interview. I've never done that before, so first.
Oh, there you go. Wait, who are you? You're a completely different person now.
Yeah,
I was speaking with Dango earlier, but who's this guy?
This is also Dango number 2, probably.
Dango number 2. Let me tell you, Dango number 1. He was telling some.
And then I'm changing the angle of the screen so I can showcase this advertisement a bit better.
Oh, nice. Enigma Experience.
Yeah.
Well, Dango number 2. I need to tell you, Dango number 1 said some mean things about you.
I can imagine.
He said
he's of the competition to become the number 1 legendary guitar player of us.
Yep. He said that. He said Dango number 1 is like, man, Dango number 2, he can't even play guitar. He can't even play Smoke on the Water.
I think he's a bit annoyed because I changed a little bit the guitar tone for this band. It's not the same thing as Truckfighters, even though it's similar. It's a bit different tweaks in the sound.
I noticed that. Yeah, a similar sound, but different. I don't really know how to describe it. Different, like a technique in a way.
Different moves, I think, overall.
Yeah.
To me, Enigma Experience to me is maybe more like progressive metal, like classic hard rock, a little bit. Then Trackfighter is more like extreme into this groovy stoner rock thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Enigma is more like classic hard rock, more acoustic, more varied in that way, even more varied than Truckfighters in that way. And the heavy parts are maybe more metal and not so like groovy in that same way. I don't know. And of course, the vocalist is totally different from each band.
Yes, there's a huge difference. I noticed that. Yeah.
So it's a different vibe to me, which is kind of I tried to achieve. I didn't want to do Truckfighters number 2 and then just put another voice on it.
So why the Enigma Experience? Is there something going on with Truckfighters? Everything good?
Well, it wasn't good when we started this. Then we had a break with Truckfighters. Then I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna do songs anyway. So I did songs anyway. And we hadn't decided how long a break it would be with Truckfighters. We just mostly also was bored and needed a break. And I actually liked the break too when it came, to be honest, because it was quite nice to be able to do normal things for a while and not have to plan to be away all the time. Even though that got really boring quickly, but for a while it was nice.
Yeah, that has to be hard on the family, like being away and playing shows. That has to be pretty tough.
Yeah, it's always like a puzzle, in the life when you have this lifestyle. At the same time, since it is a lifestyle, you don't really choose it. It's just who you are. So you just gotta live with it and do the best of it. Because otherwise, you're not gonna be a happy person anyway. Uh,
Or
so
it's
it's hard.
something.
Finding your equilibrium of life, it's not so easy.
That's right. You gotta find your balance. And it sounds like metal was calling you, or not metal, rock was calling you. I say metal. It's. I mean, if I were to play it for my wife, she would call it metal. But
Yeah,
it chose you.
but it's not the heaviest metal in the world.
No, it's not the heaviest, but it's good. And I like how you said it's more progressive. The Enigma Experience is more progressive than Truck Fighters. And I noticed that in the Truck Fighters albums, like it sounded like it was trying to be more progressive. Um, uh,
Every album with Truckfighters is a little bit more progressive, I would say. But we still have something that makes it Truckfighters style and vibe. And on the Enigma, I kind of start from scratch and just like, what do I want to do now? And whatever came out, if it was good, I kept it.
okay.
So
Now,
I
what's the
almost
name? Is there a story behind the name Enigma Experience?
yeah. It's like, what is this? It's the same as the album title, question mark. It's like, what the fuck is this? Who knows? You have to experience it and find out.
That's cool. I like
And
that.
it also connects with the music because since it's so diverse, the songs are quite different in my opinion. It's hard to categorize exactly which music style Enigma Experience is. So it's also like kind of connects to the name for me.
Okay. Now, has there been any sort of because the debut album drops today or
Yeah.
dropped yesterday? Today my time, yesterday your time, but it is. I mean, has there been a feedback? I'm sure there's been plenty of feedback from the fans. Maybe some kind of confused, so some like really excited. Tell me about that.
Yeah, of course I've heard some saying like, this is not like Track Fighters or Track Fighters is better. But also I heard people like, wow, this is amazing. So I think it's of course music is really subjective how you
Mm-hmm.
experience. But I can imagine that if you think that Track Fighters is like the best band in the world ever, then this is not gonna be the same thing, and maybe you're gonna first be like, this wasn't as good because you expect it to be like Track Fighters, but it's not like Track Fighters. It's good in another way.
You know what's interesting about that, Dingo, is that I don't know if I would consider myself like the most heavy Truck Fighters fan. I mean, I don't know all the songs in and out. I'm familiar with the songs here and there. I listen to it plenty of times, but like I said, even through the course of the albums of Truck Fighters, there was a change in tone, and
Yeah,
really just the single track for Enigma Experience. It had the Truck Fighters sound. It has that. It is a little different, but to me, it didn't seem like it was like anything bad. It was like, man, I like Truck Fighters. I'm liking this. The singer's different. I like that.
yeah. I mean, to me, of course, it's still my sound. It's still my guitar tone. It's not that different. Maybe it's more like the mood of the songs that are a bit different. But and of course, yeah, the vocalist. But I think that this vocalist, Maurice, I think he's fucking amazing. He sings like a '90s rock god
He
almost.
does. He does.
Uh, for me, who as I grew up with '90s rock, for me, I think it's just fucking brilliant. But it's also so subjective how you experience, especially voices. I think in
Oh
music,
yeah.
like if you like it or not, or maybe if you think that my guitar sound should be with Mr. Oso, and then you might need to get used to this voice before you really appreciate it fully. Uh, yeah, so it's always like that. If you have preconceptions, it's always gonna affect your impression
Hmm.
until you can get rid of them and just take it for what it is.
That's true.
So yeah, it's both good and bad. I know this is I'm always going to be compared in this project with track fighters. At least
Yeah.
those who know track, and that's just how it is. And I don't really mind, but I understand if people think it's some people might have hoped that it would be even more like Truckfighters, and they are slightly disappointed. But there's also a big bunch of people who just like, wow, this is really good and this is new, and maybe they did not even like Truckfighters, but they will like this band.
Yep, I think so. And it seems like you have a pretty good mind, a pretty good approach to this, because you're aware that some fans are gonna be stuck on the past, not in a bad way. I don't mean to frame it in a negative way, but they like a particular sound. Well, they can still enjoy that particular sound. If they're willing to kind of branch out and try like a new sort of flavor, a new spin on it, that's the Enigma Experience.
Yes.
I definitely enjoyed it. I think many people who like Truckfighters would definitely enjoy it. Now, you mentioned '90s rock. What is your favorite '90s rock band?
I almost said all of them, but all my favorite bands originate from the 90s. I mean, obviously Nirvana was the first real big inspiration for me, and I gave it to Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Tool, Caius. It's all of them are 90s.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you could jam out, if you could play, not to cause any drama with the members in Enigma Experience, but if you could jam out or have anyone that you could play with, who would it be, alive or dead?
Any person in the world that's alive or dead.
Like I'm the genie. You grant it, I'll make it happen. I mean, you say it, I'll make it happen.
I would say Kurt Cobain then, because he was my first like guitar idol.
Clean?
I thought he was so cool.
You want him clean though, right?
Hmm?
I said you want Kurt Cobain, but you want him clean. You like
Yeah.
you want him away from Courtney Love. That's what I'm saying.
Too much drugs, then no, that's true.
Maybe that's what he needs. Oh, we could bring him back, and he kind of resides near you. Maybe not in your house, but maybe with you. I don't know if you have an extra room, and maybe you can, put him on the sobriety life.
Yeah, that would have been fun to help him. Too bad it's a bit too late for that.
Yeah, man. Shit. But talk about a performance. You need some extra guitars on hand because he's gonna destroy the shit out of the guitar.
I have like 14, 15 guitars, so we could do at least a tour, one tour.
Oh, there you go. Oh man, that'd be cool. That would be cool. Any particular drummer? If you could have any drummer, who would it be?
Matt Cameron.
Ah, yeah, it's good.
Because I'm so into his Soundgarden stuff, so he's always gonna be probably number one for me. I think his groove is so nice too. I mean, I totally adore what's his name? Yeah, the Tool drummer, and now I don't remember his name. Just
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's really
but
good.
It's a different style. I think. I mean, Matt Cameron has a groove that's hard to beat, and he plays in a way that just flows, which I think would fit good with my guitar playing.
Dude, it fit excellent with your guitar playing. Maybe
I try to call him, get hold of him. Yeah. Matt, if you hear this, give me a call. Let's do something.
You're like this Mr. Deadman guy on Hard Talk Radio, a show that's like in the corner of the internet. He looks like a meth dealer. He says that you need to play with him. He says you need to play with me. Shit. Okay, now Horror Talk Radio. We do talk a little bit of horror. We're gonna do that tonight. One thing I want to ask all my guests: what's your favorite horror movie and why?
Yeah, okay. I thought about that before this show, and I think Event Horizon is my favorite, and that's because I actually don't really like horror that much in itself, but I like a little bit of horror, and I really like it in sci-fi setting. So that was like a good combination. And I think that this movie also is more like psychological horror than not so much, gore and stuff like that. And I really enjoy it. I have seen it a few times actually. When I was young, I was really scared the first time I saw it. So maybe the impression is still what makes me think it's so good.
See, when I hear that as a horror fan, the host of Horror Talk Radio here, I see that as a problem with the framing of horror. A lot of people have like this limited framing of horror that it has to be like 80s slasher. No. You got to branch out. A movie like Event Horizon are like Alien or like The Thing.
Yeah.
That's like sci-fi horror. More Alien, more Event Horizon. You know,
Definitely
The Thing.
more.
It had an
More.
alien
That
component. But
sci-fi, scary sci-fi is like the best movies, I would say.
Oh yeah. I mean, Event Horizon, man, is I think that's shit, man. That's like a lot of people's favorite. I mean, you have extreme gore. You have like the sort of Hellraiser gore stuff going on, but you have like this, like you're in deep space. You're all on your own. No one's gonna come to help you. You know.
No, that's how it is. You just have to manage with what you have.
Yeah.
And turns out that they didn't really manage so well.
No.
That's ruining a bit of the story, I guess. You know, if you watch a horror, most people die anyway, so it's not a surprise.
Now, who's your? You have a particular favorite scene in Event Horizon?
No, I just like the mood of the whole film very much.
The overall mood is really good, but
yeah,
I think you know a lot of people will probably say like the weird bizarre sex gore scene that you see very briefly, but I like I actually like the more low key stuff between with Sam Neill, right? Sam Neill's character and his wife. That dynamic was more interesting to me. I was like, what happened with her? She killed herself. Like, and I'm trying to remember the movie. Like, did they explain why she did that? Was she like haunted or something? Was she
didn't she just get affected by that weird whatever it is in the spaceship that affects everyone?
Yeah,
mentally.
Yeah, and it's so weird. And
it's totally psychological. This movie. Yeah, I would say.
And the psychological horror films, I like them because they have that lingering effect that it's like you could think about it. You can it has like a deeper meaning, you know?
Yeah. Good stuff. But I like Alien, first Alien movie. Also, the one of those like when you saw it the first time, it was like, whoa, this is so scary. That's because I was young when I saw these two movies the first time, especially the Alien movie. I can't have been much more than 10 or 12 or something like that.
Oh yeah, the original Alien was great.
Yeah, I like the number 2 and 3 as well. Actually, but the first one is more scary, and the second and third one are more like action movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, they changed the tone up a little bit, but yeah, that first one definitely very horror. Kind of similar thing, deep space, but for that one, it's more like claustrophobic. Like it's her, Ripley, like in her and the xenomorph in this tight, very claustrophobic spaceship. Man.
Yeah, and it's the same. I mean, the same theme in all the spaceship horror movies, or it's like they are alone and they don't get help from anyone, or they have to solve their situation somehow. And how the fuck do they do that? That's the question.
Now, do you think that do you think these films have influenced your music in any way?
I have no idea, but I do believe that music is influenced by everything. If you write music, it's your life. It influences you. So some way, but I don't know which way.
I can kind of hear it though. I mean, I might be kind of going deep into the sound because, and you guys sound the tone is very the gritty, heavy, fuzzy, thick, THICC, thick sound. I can hear despair. I can hear isolation. I can hear, just like you don't know what the future is going to hold. Like in that desert cruiser, like I was like, man, the guy's stuck in a desert cruiser. He doesn't know if he's going to make it. He's going to be stranded out there in the desert.
Maybe we should do like a music video for Desert Cruiser,
dude,
in that way.
That could be a horror movie. Like, imagine that, because that would have the similar theme, a kind of similar theme to that of like a deep space movie, in that you're kind of by yourself alone, out there in the desert, far away, you're not going to have any help. You probably won't have any cell phone service. It's just going to be you, the sun,
and the car,
yeah,
and some, I don't know what's gonna make it more scary. Big scorpions and spiders and maybe aliens. Aliens is a nice thing to put in there.
Oh yeah, you got some desert aliens. I mean, there might be aliens walking among us right now.
Yeah,
I could be an alien. Dango, you could be an alien.
probably, since I changed clothes. Just
you changed clothes. I'm so. You look a little different. I mean, you've seen the movie The Thing, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember so much from it, to be honest.
It's pretty much. Have you played the game Among Us?
No.
You have a kid. You have a family. You haven't played Among Us. I'm surprised. That game is called around. It's like a free to play cell phone game, whatever. It's pretty much an imposter. Okay. You might be the imposter.
I like Stephen King. When I was young, everything happened when I was young. But now I don't. I only play music. No, but I read a lot of Stephen King books back in the days.
What's your favorite Stephen King book, man?
Ooh, hard to choose just one. I like the Gunslinger series, actually. Not so much
The Dark Tower.
Yeah, and I like The Stand, but that's not super scary though. But it's good.
Now, I got to ask you. This is a very important question. Okay, I'll bring the mic close to my mouth so that way you can hear me. There's a recurring guest. His name is Chris Miller, and he defends the movie The Dark Tower. Says it's a masterpiece.
No, my God, it's so bad. Fuck.
Now, Chris Miller claims that Dark Tower is a masterpiece.
Oh my God.
I can't speak for him because I don't understand. I don't speak
That
Chris
movie
Miller.
is like the biggest letdown in modern history. Almost.
Right. It's not a good movie. And I like B movies. I love 80s B movies. I will watch them. I'll enjoy them. They're fun. Like I just reviewed Chopping Mall. That's a good movie. It's straight to the point. Robots that kill people. But the Dark Tower movie, that was not a good movie. Now, I can't speak for him, but maybe one day.
They ruined the whole story as well. They changed so much; it was not even close to the books, and they just
Right?
But I have friends who did not know about the book and only saw the movie, and they liked it. So
ignorance is bliss, huh?
But it's not that many Stephen King books that have been successfully taken to the screen. Most of the time they're less good on the screen.
Yeah.
Maybe The Shining is the one that works, I guess. That's really good.
The Shining was good, and Stephen King didn't like that adaptation. It's a Kubrick film, but he didn't like that adaptation. But it worked well. Yeah. You have Jack Nicholson play Jack Terrence, right? That's the name. The crazy guy.
He's one of the best actors probably ever.
Oh yeah, See, with Dark Tower, they could have turned that into a trilogy. I mean, Hollywood loves trilogies. Why couldn't they have just done that? Taken their time with it and developed it, The source material is right there.
Do a remake in 15 years and do it properly. Call me in 10 years we start planning it.
I mean, if Hollywood doesn't go bankrupt, I mean, with COVID, with the coronavirus, one of the silver linings for me is that Hollywood might actually have to go through a lot of growing pains to start anew. Because I'm getting tired of these remixes. I'm getting tired of these reboots,
It's always, that's so many films that's like, they did this. And now they don't even do it, reboots of movies that are older than 10, 15 years. So they could wait at least 25 years or something.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do they reboot Spider-Man? How many times do they have to retell us the Spider-Man origin story?
Yeah.
Or Batman. There's a new
Yeah,
Batman. I'm like, people are excited about that. I'm like, guys, we've seen Batman before.
Yeah, the first Batman movie is the best one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The 80s one.
Oh, wait. You're talking about like
No, what?
the which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one with shit? What's his name? The one with the gray Batman. Are you talking about that one, the kind of like TV movie one? Are you talking about the one with Michael Keaton?
I'm talking about the one that came. Was it in the 90s then?
Michael
That's for
Keaton.
me. Michael Keaton. It was the best Batman for me.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. And also a good Bruce Wayne too. I mean, he was rich, but he didn't seem like he was really all that invested in the rich lifestyle. Like, you could tell he didn't really like that stuff. He just had it because he had the money, it's whatever. Anyway, I know. Another question I'd like to ask all my guests, being Horror Talk Radio, and you've been on the road a lot. You toured a lot. So you might have an answer here. Have you had a paranormal experience?
No.
No? Wait. You've been on the road. You haven't encountered one. What about a cryptid? Have you encountered a lizard person?
A what?
A lizard person. A lizard man.
Only humans and no supernatural stuff.
Oh.
Except me when we're on stage. Then I try.
Now that's superhuman, because the energy that you bring forth is amazing. Man, what about the Hat Man? No Hat Man? No shadow people? Shadow people?
Nope, nothing. This topic is dead. Sorry.
No, but I like this though. I like this because it's perspective. Because there's people who come on and they maybe haven't really traveled that much. They haven't really seen anything. I mean, is it a subject that really even interests you? I mean, have you ever thought about ghosts or paranormal or anything like that?
No.
Hmm.
And I've been to at least 4 continents, and I haven't seen anything weird.
Oh. Wow. I wonder what happens when we die. I wonder.
Then we die, and we don't want to know anyway.
Right? Then we're just dead.
Yep.
Sad.
Not if you had a good life.
Anyway, let's bring it back to Enigma Experience. Anything else? So there's that one single that I listened to. Are there gonna be additional tracks? I mean, I could probably just stream it right now and check out the rest of the album.
Okay. Yeah, just press play, and the album is out now. You can just listen to everything, and everything is good. All the songs are a little bit different from each other, so you might find one specific favorite if you have a specific. If you don't like too much doom, there's a few songs. If you like more, acoustic, there's a few one songs. It's a lot of different things that comes out from this weird little thing there.
Okay. And what's one thing that you want to do differently with the Enigma Experience that you did with Truckfighters?
Oh, you mean what I want to do different? Now, I think I didn't intentionally think like I want to do different in one way or the other. I just wanted to do some tweak that make the sound a little bit different. I mean, I used usually on Truckfighters I recorded with my old Rickenbacker guitar, almost everything, and now I used my Gibsons for Enigma to get something a bit different from the start.
Okay.
But apart from that, it's the difference, I guess, is since I wrote everything myself instead of writing most with Mr. Oso. There's no other input than me in the songwriting.
Okay.
So that should make it a little bit different by itself too.
So a change in the production of it. Any thoughts about the change in the performance of it, like live?
Well, live it's different in the sense because now we have also a lot of harmonies in the vocal parts. Because I mean, Maurice, when he came into the band, I had already written almost all the vocal lines in a position of the scale where my voice feels good. Like here, I feel like I'm pushing myself just perfect to sound at least for me, a little bit cool. I don't have the best voice, but it sounds a bit like nice.
Mm-hmm.
But to get that to that position in his voice, he had to sing it higher in the pitch because his register is so much wider than mine. So for him to sing like in where I felt like this is I'm pushing it here, and it sounds cool. For him to get that, we had to take it higher. So that kind of made us keep my voice, a lot of my voice, like use it as a harmony instead.
Okay.
So that's the album has a lot of double singing and harmonies.
Okay, and that could definitely have an effect. Doing it a live performance. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Because now I'm gonna have to sing and be by the microphone stand and sing a lot, which I don't do so much in Truckfighters. And there's also like more soft parts of the songs, so probably it's gonna be a bit less jumping around in Enigma Experience, just because that's how the songs are, you know.
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool. One last question about it is, where would you like to see the Enigma Experience go? Like, how far would you like it to go?
The biggest band on the planet.
Biggest, of course. Biggest band on the planet.
I don't know if that's actually something I would like, because imagine if you get like recognized everywhere and you stopped at the streets and you can't really relax and live a normal life. So I would settle for financially independent.
Financially independent. That's good.
To be honest, I'm happy as long as I can do what I want to do and continue to do the music and not have to work with a normal job. And right now I managed to with the label part and the music part, and hopefully that can just continue, and then I would be satisfied.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up a Horror Talk Radio here. For those that made it this far, definitely. Well, we're not on YouTube. I'm used to pressing the like button, share, and subscribe. Definitely follow and sub on Twitch. That'd be good. But yeah, those listening to this on the podcast feed, definitely leave a comment. I mean, you guys listen to it on iTunes or whatever podcast app you use. Anyway, definitely check out the Enigma Experience in the Truckfighters. And y'all take it easy. All right, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I'll stream again later on, continue playing Final Fantasy VI. That's on Real Game and Chill. And y'all take it easy.